Hey guys, it's ExandShadow, and welcome back to Let's Play Devil Survivor Overclocked. In the last part, nothing of any real importance happened.
Theme park. This
Yeah,
brings back
sorry
memories. I
about
used to
that,
come
but in
here
this
with
part,
my
we're going to
family.
Disney World, yeah!
No one's here.
Although I
It's
thought
usually
Tokyo
really
Disneyland just meant
crowded.
that it was near
Hey,
Tokyo,
what's
not
your
next.
favorite
Oh,
ride?
oh. Anyway, where's the choice for the teacups? Damn it.
Huh?
Oh well.
What's so
If
great
you choose the
about
Ferris
that?
wheel, she says, "Oh, that's my favorite ride too." And if you say the roller coaster, she's like, "You like that?" I'm too much of a wimp to like this roller coaster, so yeah, it doesn't really matter what you pick there. But I just picked the merry-go-round because I haven't actually picked that one before.
Is it air-conditioned? Maybe it has its own generator.
Yeah,
Yes, but
why
why
would
would
they
they
cool
cool
the
the
outside
outside
air?
air,
I've
too?
been to theme parks in the
Seems
summer
weird.
before. They don't
You
bother
got a
with that
point,
shit, you know.
but you won't hear
Bring
me
like
complain. At
sunscreen
least
and
it's
water
cool
to
here.
that stuff, because you're gonna be waiting
Now that
in
we
line
beat
and
the
sweating
heat,
your
I'm
ass
getting
off at
hungry.
one of these
Oh
places.
yeah, it's already
Oh,
lunchtime.
and it's lunchtime. Well, normally I eat lunch more at noon
What
than
isn't?
at 1, but
Oh, crap.
wait a minute.
Atsuro? What's
It's
wrong?
the right
This
place,
is the place the
and the
email
right
mentioned.
time.
And now
They
is
said
about the right
3
time.
people would be murdered by a
what?
snowman, and it's
Remember
cooler,
what
and
the
we're
Laplace
3 people,
mail
and we
said?
have death clocks
Murder
that say
victims
0,
of an
and god
abominable
damn it, we're
snowman?
morons.
Oh no.
You would have thought
3
that if there were
victims,
3
and the
people,
death clock
and our
says
death clock
0
said
for us
0,
3.
and they specifically
Hey,
mentioned
look.
how 3 people die, we'd stay away from this place during this time period. But whatever. There are going to be a couple of situations like this where, you know, you just gotta fight a boss and you're destined to die there because that's what your death clock says 0. There's a couple of situations where that's
blizzard will
unavoidable,
occur.
but there are
This
certain
is
other
it.
things where, like,
The time and
character
place
X
match
will
up.
die at
Damn it.
time
Look at us.
Y,
We thought we could
and if you're
escape
not
from
there
our
at
fate,
time
but
Y
we
to
ended
save
up
them,
running
they
right
will
into
die.
it.
So
We made that
this is
email
where
a
you're supposed to
reality
learn that
all
you're
by
actually
ourselves.
supposed to use the Laplace mail to plan for shit that's going to happen later in the day. So keep
Is
that in
this
mind when
really
you're
where
playing
we
through the
die?
later days. Again, day
Is
1
fate
is still
really
very much a
unavoidable?
tutorial where we're just trying to get stuff used to how
To
you
stay
progress
alive.
through the day.
Yeah,
Day 2 is
you're
where you
right.
can actually
We
start
control
missing
our
stuff
own destiny.
and things like
We'll
that.
defeat
So
that thing.
don't worry too much about it right now,
I
but
always
from
tried
this
to make a
point
big
onward, you're
show
going
of
to have
trying
to
so hard, but all
plan
I
out your
did was
days
run
carefully.
away.
Or
I ran
you
away
could just
from
listen to
things
what
I
I'm
could
doing and
fail
then
at
not miss
because
a
I was
single thing.
afraid of
So,
looking
you
bad
know,
if I did.
your option.
But this time, if we fail, it's
Or
over,
you could just
isn't
reset
it?
the day
I'll
from
do
the
it.
from the
I
save
don't
point.
wanna die,
There's
so
no
I won't
place where
run
you can
away.
ever be
So
locked out of
please,
an ending.
guys,
There's
stay
always a
alive.
way to get through the game, so don't worry too much about that. But anyway, here we're fighting off with the Wendigo, although the Hulk and the Wolverine won't be able to help us with this, and I'm sure that none of you got that reference. But this is really the first real boss that we have in this game, and there's a couple of different ways that you can go about it. The most effective way that I've found to go about it is to give either Yuzu or the main character the Agi spell and just go to town on this guy. You're gonna want to set it so that you skill crack the Ice Dance spell off of the Wendigo, because that's a spell that, well, it takes up quite a bit of magic points for what we have at this point in the game. It's a boss killer, definitely. The Ice Dance spell, even into the late game, well, not just the Ice Dance spell, there's like a fire variation and a force variation and such, but the dance spells are going to be your magic user's best friends when it comes to bosses, but we don't have access to one of them yet, so yeah. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you have Zan and Agi for your team that you specify to go face off against this Wendigo, because you're going to want Zan to take care of those Moshavus in order to get the Wendigo on its own as quickly as possible, and then you're going to want to use your Agi to take down the Wendigo itself, because obviously the ice dude is weak to fire. You're going to want to make sure that you've got a couple of different people who have the fire spell, and you're going to want to make sure that for your main character you don't use anything other than fire, because like I have Dia on him, and with that Dia spell I just wasted 2 uses of Agi, which is like an entire round. It's very easy to run out of magic points in this fight, and that's really one of the big issues with magic casters as opposed to physical attackers, is that magic casters are very good for the beginning and mid game, but physical casters don't really need to worry about their magic points so much, because it's a lot easier to replenish hit points than magic points. You see, the physical attackers, when they're using any of their special skills, you know, like I think I have Angry Hit on Atsuro at the moment. If I wanted him to use that move, he'd take away some of his HP. And while that does make him a little bit more vulnerable, you can, once you get the late game physical abilities, you can wipe out entire teams and bosses within like one turn. It's ridiculous how overpowered physical attacks are later in the game. But here, you know, I've got my main character here, and he's got the Dia spell. You know, that was just a waste of 2 Agi uses. You know, you're going to want to make sure that your characters have multiple uses of Agi, because even with, you know, 3 people with Agi and decent magic stats, it's going to take quite a long time for that Wendigo to go down, and it's very easy for you to run out of magic points if you have anything other than Agi equipped to the main character, especially. Yuzu's a little bit more difficult to go against the Wendigo because of her shorter movement speed. The thing is that at some point, you know, you can't even get all the way towards the Wendigo on your first turn with Yuzu. And at some point when you do enough damage to him, the Wendigo will try to run away, which is sort of a pain in the ass. So I don't usually recommend Yuzu to face off against the Wendigo, although a good strategy that I should have learned to do by this point, even though I haven't, is to keep another character by the main character, but not necessarily up fighting the Wendigo with them. Like, I sent both Atsuro and Yuzu to take out the other demons over to the right there, but it might have been a better idea to keep Yuzu as backup for the Wendigo, and, you know, have her on healing duty so that I'm not wasting any magic points with the main character or any of his demons. That is arguably the more effective strategy, although you might be better off with Atsuro as opposed to Yuzu. It really just depends on what demons you have at this point. I would, for this battle especially, I would highly recommend buying more demons than you can hold on to. If you've got like 8 demons, you can only have 6 of them summoned at once, you know, 2 for each character that you have. But if you have extra demons, when one of your demons dies, and they will inevitably die because, you know, this is long and very, that's a relatively challenging battle. Not like unbeatable, but you might lose a couple of times beforehand. But so you're gonna have to expect that you're going to lose a demon or 2 to this guy. So having a couple in backup, especially if they also have the Agi skill, is very, very, very useful. Because here, look, I'm on my own, and I'm already out of magic points, and I've only been at this fight for like 5 minutes. So yeah, it sort of sucks because, you know, I was really, really close to beating him here too, and, you know, being out of magic points just makes it so much harder to go after them. Especially when stuff like that, Kobold uses the bind ability on you. So you might want to have a couple of Wyvers available so that you can use double speed to get away from that. But for the most part, you are going to want to have one character just focus straight on the Wendigo and have the other 2 clean up the rest of the demons. I don't actually do it here, but if you manage to take out the Wendigo before the rest of the demons are dead, they'll just run away like pussies, because if you can beat Wendigo, you sure as hell can beat up the pixies and kobolds hanging around here, you know. So, focusing on the Wendigo might end you up with less experience in the long run, but, you know, you will have more, it will be an easier time overall, because you're not wasting your magic on these other things, you know. See, like here, I've got an extra pixie and I've got an extra kobold just in case, although the kobold's not going to be doing too much. Really, by this point in day 1, you really only want to have a kobold there if you have nothing else to put into your roster. You know, it's basically roster fodder at this point. And see, now my main character is basically just dead weight because I've already started to focus him on magic, and, you know, his physical attack is shit. Now, here I'm breaking my own rule too, and I'm just trying to take out the kobold as fast as possible so that I don't have to deal with his grouping on the team anymore, you know, because as long as that kobold's there, that kobold can do bind and make my life, you know, a whole lot more tedious, you know. So, yeah. And it's just situations like these where I had both of my characters all the way over to the bottom right and they're not doing anything else, you know. I should have had one of them near the main character for backup purposes at the very least, you know. It would have made this entire thing a whole lot more bearable. But now I gotta deal with pixies attacking me too. Wonderful. Thankfully, the pixie's a little bit easier to take care of than the kobold is on its own, because, you know, it's a pixie and it's not physical focus, so it basically just can't take any attacks at all, you know. You can take care of the Kabusos with 1 Zeo, though, for this pixie. And I'm actually going to get really, really, really lucky here, because, well, I'm not sure if I'm getting really, really lucky here. Oh, I am getting really, really lucky here because I managed to deal the skill set bonus at this point. And that's basically how it works right there. If the bar fills up, you'll get the ability to add any of the skills you've cracked to your demon's skill list. And in this case, that means that I can give my pixie Agi, which makes it actually possible for me to beat up the Wendigo now, you know. It's just like, yes, I finally can do it, you know. It's just one of those things where I was so glad that popped up. If that hadn't, I mean, I'm sure I would have been able to beat it. Oh, fucking Hero Soul, or Night Soul, I think it was. Yeah, that makes this battle a whole lot more annoying than it really should be, because, you know, then you basically can't, with two ogres guarding him, you can't just take care of that kobold. You have to deal with his flunkies. So don't worry about the Wendigo escaping from the battle scene, you know. Some enemies can do that. They can, like, escape from the map and then you lose automatically, but not in this case. The Wendigo will just go hide in the corner and sort of whine for a little bit. But eventually, once you take care of all of the other demons, he will come back because there's really nothing else that he can do. But when he's weak like this, he's basically just moving back so that his flunkies can take care of all the fighting for him, which is actually a decent strategy, but, you know. I mean, it's not like I can get through all these guys at this point. That fucking kobold has been obnoxious this entire time, so, yeah. For the most part, I think even the first time I beat it, I was able to take care of this guy before, you know, I had to deal with all of these other demons. But I think that was just because I had ignored all the demons to the bottom right and just sent the, I had ignored all the demons to the bottom right and just sent all three of them at the Wendigo at once, which is not the best idea because you can only have one of your main characters with Agi at one time. Although you can get demons with Agi, which is almost good enough, but your main characters are always going to be doing more damage than the main characters are always going to be doing more damage than the demons in this situation because they're always going to be doing more damage than the demons in general. So yeah, the characters just benefit most from the variety. You know, you can give them any moves you want while you're generally stuck with whatever moves the demons are born with, or fused with, or bought with, or whatever. Although, if you grind enough, you can skill set bonus to the point where the demons have any moveset you want, but that takes effort, and that's effort that I just don't have. Like, here's what I'm talking about. You know, I'm just bringing up that kobold just to have another space in my party, you know. It's if I didn't need that other space, that kobold wouldn't have gotten any use. But, you know, it's better to have something there than nothing, so, you know. But, yeah, when the Wendigo's health is this low, you can basically just count on being able to take it out in a turn or two, you know. Like, the Pixie's Agi did 22 damage, and, you know, although she didn't get an extra turn, although I don't know why she didn't get an extra turn, our physical attacks are more than enough to crack Ice Dance and take down that fucking asshole. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Level up. Again, you are going to want to make sure that your strength stat is at least relatively decent for like the first 3 days, you know. After day 3, you can ignore it to the point where as long as you have enough strength to get all the magic skills you need, you know, you can just sort of ignore it, but you are going to want to make sure that it's at least sort of decent for the first handful of days, you know. If only because your MP is so low that you won't be able to take, you're going to have to resort to physical attacks every once in a while.
I mean, we were the ones mentioned in the email, but we...
Yeah, that's nice. So, basically, whenever our death clock is down to 0, it's just a matter of beat the boss that we're not really supposed to be able to beat, you know? So, yeah, I love the dialogue choices. It's just like, what's 0 plus 2?
2 days, huh? At least we bought some more
Well,
time.
I'm not really
Let's use those 2
sure,
days
but
to
it
find a way
might
out of the
be
Yamanote
2.
Circle.
Yeah, I kind of flunked out of kindergarten
Right.
math,
2
so,
days should
you
be
know,
all
I'm
we
not
need to find a
entirely
way
sure
out.
on that one, but I'm relatively
We
sure
changed
it's
our
2.
fate, so finding a way out should be
So,
easy.
yes, now, oh, wait.
Oh, one thing, though.
Crap. You
I
might have
forgot
been
to tell you
noticed in the
guys.
top left corner
What?
there that
Quit
there's a
staring
battery
like
meter,
that.
and that is not
Sorry, but I
actually
only
my
realized it a
DS's
moment
battery.
ago.
I have my DS
We've
on
got
a
a
charger
problem.
the entire time I'm
What
recording.
do you mean a
The
problem?
problem is
We're
that
forgetting
this
something
comp
important.
thing has
We absolutely
batteries, you
need
know,
these
it's an
comps to fight,
electronical device, you know, that
Uh,
makes
yeah?
sense.
The comps
So
run on
now we gotta
rechargeable
find a way to
batteries,
recharge
but
our
there's a
comps,
blackout right
otherwise we're sorta screwed, you know. No
Right.
comps means no
At this rate,
demons,
it
which
won't be
means
long
we're
before our
probably
comps are out
gonna
of juice.
die. So, next
What are we
time on
gonna
Let's
do?
Play Devil Survivor
Hey.
Overclocked, we are going to go explore the rest of Tokyo
know
trying to find a way to
that.
recharge our comps.
Why don't we try Akihabara?
I'm
We
ExandShadow,
might be able to find
and
a
I'll
hand-powered
see
charger
you
there.
guys
And it's out east, so we
later.
can look for a way out of the lockdown while we're at it.